Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about PvZ decompilation modding and how you can get started. So, how does it work? Well, the original game of Plants vs. Zombies was written in C++, and when the game was released, this original source code was inaccessible. You could decompile it, but you wouldn't get variable names or method names or anything that was useful to you. So it was very hard to mod the game. You could use hex codes or insert assembly scripts, but that was about as much as you could do, and it was very limited in its scope. It was also very hard for beginners to mod the game. So, over time, the decompiled source code was written in with variable names, method names, comments through brute force, and just people making educated guesses. And this was made by a couple modders in China, and what happened was the source code was actually leaked from them. So Electro Gunner, he added his own changes to this leaked source code and published his own code, his own version of the game, and that is the one that most people have been using. So now after you download the code, you can make your own changes directly with C++. So here are the prerequisites you're going to need to mod. You're going to need some coding experience, preferably in C++ because that's the language the game is written in. However, if you know something like Java or Python instead, that's also fine, but you should definitely know how to code before this. If not, you definitely need to spend a long time catching up on some coding tutorials. Me personally, I actually don't know any C or any C++. The only programming languages I know is Python and Java, but I can mod it just fine. But this requires you to have some critical thinking skills. There's not that many tutorials out there on how you can do things in decompilation modding, and the community is quite unfriendly towards beginners, so you're gonna have to learn a lot of it yourself. What I mean is that if you want to make a change, you're gonna have to read the source code, figure out what the code does, and try and change it so it matches what you want. For example, let's say you want to make Potato Mine explode in a 3x3 radius around itself. Well, instead of asking that question to other people, you could look around through the source code and look at the code for Cherry Bomb and copy and paste the same code over to Potato Mine, and then now it will explode in a 3x3 radius. Obviously, that's very simplified, but that's how most decompilation modding works. So the first thing you're going to need to do is download Visual Studio 2022. Make sure you're downloading Visual Studio and not Visual Studio Code. These are separate IDEs. So you're just going to go ahead and download this. It's very easy. I already downloaded it, so I'm not going to do it for this tutorial. Now you're going to have to open it. Let's go here. And now what you're going to do is click clone a repository. And now here, you're going to go to this link over here. I've linked it in the description. And this is basically a decompilation of the Plants vs. Zombies source code in C++. So you're going to go to click on this screen. I'm going to go on code, copy this URL, and now you're going to go over here, paste it in the repository location, and give a name for your PvZ mod. I'm just going to call it modding tutorial, and let's clone this. And it's just going to take a while and clone the project off the GitHub. Alright, now we're done. We've copied over all the source code, and what you're going to do now is change this to release, and change this, make sure it's set to x86. In my case, it's already there. And let's try clicking this run button and see what happens. Alright, and now it's telling us that there were build errors. So what this means is that the person who created this version of the decompilation left some errors in his code. So now we're just going to have to fix these. So we're just going to click OK here, telling us an error here. If you know coding, it's pretty obvious. You're missing a closing quotation mark. That's one error fixed. Go on to the next one. New line in constant. So seems this is a problem here. Well, it does say do confirm purchase dialog. It's not a big deal. It won't affect gameplay. You can just comment out everything. This method doesn't return anything anyways, so we should be fine. Next, unexpected end of file. We've commented that out. Here, seems we're missing an ending quotation mark here, so we'll just do that to fix it. Yep, same error. New line inconstant. Just remove that. This all seems to affect the same method. Empty character constant. Let's just put in some random character like A. Alright, and this time should work out. Alright, so now it's successful. It's gonna say can't find base.dll. That's fine. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna right click on launch project here, and we're gonna do open folder in file explorer. So you go back to this folder here, and then you're gonna go on to release, and you're gonna see this new file created called launchproject.exe. So what I just did was take all our code, compile it, and it created this .exe folder, or this .exe file. So I'm gonna Control C, copy this, go over here, move to the debug folder, and I'm gonna paste it into this folder. So now if we click launchproject.exe and give it a second, it will run the game. And this is your modded version of the game.